With Korean specialist Aidan Foster-Carter from Leeds University. Aidan, thanks for taking the time to speak to us. Just first of all, if you will, give our viewers a bit of context. Why were there so many of these families who were split up during the Korean War?
Well, this is the fate of a civil war and of a very particular kind. The peninsula was originally divided in 1945 as a result of the defeat of Japan. It had been occupied by Japan, the Soviet zone in the north and American zone in the south. The border was pretty impermeable even then. And then came the Korean War, 1950 to 53, terrible destruction. A few people did manage to cross this way and that. And then 1953, the border, the border hadn't moved an awful lot, in spite of 4 million people dying. But then it became impermeable yet again. And because in all the years since, the two Koreas have never managed to have a very good relationship. It's been on, off, on, off. So the people have had no contact with each other, and both governments used to forbid it. I mean, no writing, no telephoning nowadays, no email. All this could be done, but they don't. All they have is these rather tragic, travesties to my mind of what a real reunion would be. So it's a terrible situation for these now very elderly people. And
here again today we're talking about just 89 lucky ones. How are those people chosen, and how many are still waiting for their chance?
Well, this is part of the tragedy of it all. We don't really know what happens on the North Korean side, as with so many other things. But on the South Korean side, it's a democracy. The process is transparent. First of all, you apply. And since the turn of the century, when this started in earnest, more than 100,000 people applied. Surprise, surprise, more than half of them are now dead. They were elderly in the first place because this was all so long ago. Then a very few, every time they have these things, and bear in mind, it have only been 20, as I think you said, the last one 3 years ago, because the previous governments were not getting on in the South. So 100 people, a very small proportion, get chosen from each side, and then the list is passed to the other side, and you try to find their relatives as best they can. So, and then they meet for a grand total of 11 hours, some of it with these very intrusive TV cameras. I wonder if any other viewers agree. I don't think we should be seeing these images. This should be something private for people. They get a bit of privacy, but not much. So perhaps better than nothing, but, just a very, it must be heartbreaking when you go away again, and that's it. You will never, ever see them again.
We are seeing, though, these days, a warming of relations between North and South Korea, two countries which are, as I was saying before, technically still at war. Can you see a day soon when all of these separated families will have a chance to be brought together? Are we moving toward that in any way?
I wish. That's a very good question. Now, part of my own sort of frustration, as an analyst, I should be dispassionate and detached. Who can be dispassionate about these poor old people? No, it's not cumulative. Actually, the very first one was in 1985, but that tends to be forgotten about. And then a sporadically regular program since 2000. It's never got any better. You'd like to think they'd become more often, or then afterwards they would be allowed to email or telephone or something. We see nothing of this, just the same old, very inadequate thing. And that, I must admit, it makes me mad as hell.
We've heard so many extraordinary stories of these families, of these mothers and sons, brothers and sisters who have found each other, if only briefly, after all these years apart. Is there one story in particular that you have heard that's perhaps touched you the most?
I don't think I would be able to choose. Each time it's kind of the same, although, of course, it's very individual. That the oldest, they keep getting older. I suppose there's a 101-year-old there, I gather, and there was the 91-year-old lady. Bear in mind, viewers, that I can't see the video that you're seeing, so it may be the same one. Even the children are now 70 years old. I don't think I want to sort of to rank people's grief. It's been a lifetime tragedy for all these people torn apart by the exigencies of war. I just hope that sometime soon they do get a chance to meet properly, to meet more often, and so on.
Indeed. I think everyone shares that wish with you, Aidan. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us. That was Aidan Foster-Carter there speaking to us, Aidan Foster-Carter from Leeds University.